This is Lacquerography, and this is my wish list for August 2025's polished pickup. The theme this month is time travel, and I've already gone ahead and made a preliminary first impressions wish list, and I have 14 items right now that are sitting in that wish list. Now I am off to a little bit of a late start. I was away on vacation for the last week, so I actually missed the initial wish listing period, and the shop is open now. So let's just dive right in and take a look at the 14 items that are catching my eye. Hopefully they're all still available. This first item on my wish list is by Beau Rêve Lacquer, and this one is called Déjà Bleu. With this polish, they're traveling back in time to 1996, inspired by the groundbreaking, at the time, nail polish shade Ciel de Nuit by Chanel. Déjà Bleu is a midnight blue base with a shimmer that shifts navy to violet, filled with hollow pigment, hollow sparkle, and reflective glitter. Luckily for this polish, it says that there is no cap. What that means is that in this case, the maker, Beau Rêve Lacquer, is able to make as many polishes as are needed this month to fulfill all orders. So the fact that I'm getting a late start this month doesn't matter quite as much with this polish having no current availability cap applied. I'm filming this on August the 1st, and I'm starting to feel all those back to school type vibes. In my part of the world, I'm a teacher in Ontario, Canada. We go back to school the day after Labor Day, and Labor Day falls the first Monday of September. I return back to school with the kids on September 2nd, and there's something about this time of year where denim blues are everything I'm looking for. Now, this is a very glammed up take on a denim blue type color. I'm loving all the aspects that are added into this polish to really bring this midnight blue base alive. It's got the shifting shimmer, it's got hollow pigment, it's got hollow sparkle, and reflective glitter. There's so much happening in here. It is beautiful, and it really is all the kind of feels that I'm feeling right now. I'm also really intrigued by this polish. I wasn't aware of this polish back in 1996. At that point, I didn't have that kind of money to be looking at Chanel polishes at all. So I really do look forward to going back and doing some research when I'm making my final decisions here about this polish, just to see what this original looked like that's inspired this polish this month. If it's anything at all like Beau Rêve's interpretation, I can tell that it was breathtaking. This first polish on my wish list is by Beau Rêve Lacquer, Déjà Bleu. This next polish up is by Bee's Knees Lacquer, and it's called Nightmare. This polish was inspired by the maker's new favorite game, Doom, The Dark Ages. This is a murky forest green with glowing red to gold shimmer and a scattering of light reflective glitter. This one has an availability cap assigned to it of only 500 being available. So what that means in this case is that this maker, Bee's Knees Lacquer, is committing to creating 500 of these polishes, and after that, they are considered sold out. This colorway has been such trouble for me across the last year or so. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Bee's Knees Lacquer has released several polishes that have this kind of a murky vibe. This one's described as being a murky forest green with this glowy red to gold shimmer, but it also has the addition of reflective glitter. I went to high school in the grunge era. This kind of a colorway is so deeply rooted in my soul, I think. I love this kind of colorway, and every time I see something that could be considered as sort of a prugly perhaps to some, I just think that it's beautiful, and it brings back sort of a mood and a nostalgia to me that just defines a lot about who I am, and it goes back to my high school experience, which actually was a pretty decent one. I don't know what it is about this one and this colorway and the kind of colors that Bee's Knees Lacquer has been producing lately, that this one just has to be on my wish list. I will have to see how this one compares though to some of the others that I've purchased lately to make sure that it doesn't compare too closely. My collection is growing incredibly quickly and I don't want to duplicate myself at all. But this base color, this shimmer, and the addition of that bit of light reflective glitter happening in there to give that extra bit of sparkle and lightness I can't say enough about this one and the way it looks and the way it makes me feel. This beautiful murky green is by Bee's Knees Lacquer, Nightmare. This next one up is by Cliona Cosmetics, and this one is called Chrome Bob. This polish was inspired by the time travel episode SB 129 in SpongeBob SquarePants, where everything in the future is fully chrome. Although there is a chrome Spongetron there, we imagine the present-day SpongeBob into a futuristic form. His sparkling personality would surely translate to a holographic finish. This is described as being an acidic yellow linear holographic polish with a matching yellow shimmer. And there are only 394 of these being made available this month. Now it's really interesting, a number like that with a listed cap of 394, I have to pretty much consider that with a number that specific, this might be a very firm cap. Like the maker may not be able to produce any more than this based on perhaps component supply or something like that to make this such a specific number. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that. But at this point, luckily for me, it looks like this one may still be available. I love the originality of this one. Yellow polishes are a reasonably recent new love of mine. Really, it's the world of indie polishes that opened my eyes to the beauty of yellow nail polish after I avoided it completely in my younger years. Anything with the tiniest tinge of yellow was something I just automatically used to avoid. But now I crave these yellows. And this one is completely unique to anything I have in my collection. This linear hollow looks absolutely spectacular with this kind of a base color. I'm also further interested in the way this shimmer may play out with this one as well. There's a lot of look here with this one. Like there's so much going on. The rainbows from the linear hollow, the shimmer, the fact that this is an acidic yellow color, and it's sort of inspired by kind of a chrome look. Like I think I can very much pick up a little bit of that metallic vibe that's coming through here in these swatch photos. It looks fresh, it looks interesting, it looks optimistic and happy. I'm really loving the overall vibe of this polish. This one's a pretty strong contender on my wish list this month. This brilliant yellow linear hollow polish is by Cliona Cosmetics, Chrome Bob. This next one up is by Coloris de Carol, and this one is called Trapped in Time. Trapped in Time is inspired by the elephant mosquito, Mosquito in the Amber, from Jurassic Park. Trapped in Time is a blackened orange base packed with hollow flakes with a fiery orange gold green magnetic effect. There is a disclaimer here saying I highly recommend you use a base coat as you may experience staining. And it does say down here as well that there is no current availability cap. So again, wonderful news for me, getting to this a little bit late in the game this month. Over the last few years, fall has become my favorite season, and this polish is bringing to me all those fall vibes, which I'm just starting to get. I am Canadian, and we are seeing definitely a shift in the temperatures. Days are still really quite hot in my area. I'm in kind of a more southern area in my province of Ontario, Canada. The summer is still hot, I can't deny that, but the evenings are getting quite cool. In fact, cool enough that you very much need to bring a jacket with you. And along with that kind of a change in temperature, this kind of a shift, I start to crave colors like this one. Orange is another favorite color of mine. Green, much like the murky green that we saw earlier with the Bee's Knees Lacquer, is a favorite type of color. And orange is another favorite color in my life. This is another one that's really quite unique to my collection. I don't own anything that's quite this deep and orange, definitely not in a magnetic kind of finish. This is really very interesting. In some ways, it does complement that Bee's Knees Lacquer one quite a bit. They both have some of that orange warmth to them, but this one undoubtedly is a strong example of an orange polish, and one that sounds quite highly pigmented as well, according to the disclaimer written here. I'm also really intrigued by the fact that this one is inspired by the mosquito trapped in amber from Jurassic Park. That kind of an amber look is so appealing to me, and I can really see that inspiration playing out here in the swatcher's photographs. I'm also really loving the way that this one plays with a kind of velvet magnetic finish, which is what I'm assuming I'm seeing here in the upper right-hand corner of this collage. And I'm also really loving what I'm seeing with this one done up in the cat eye magnetic style as well, which I believe that I'm seeing in the bottom photo of the collage here. All these different ways of playing with this polish, I think, really play up this quality of amber. Amber in real life has all these fascinating variations in color, in finish, in imperfection as well, if you want to call it that. I find that this polish is just a beautiful interpretation of that, and it's quite high on my wish list as well. This beautiful amber-inspired polish is by Colores de Carol, Trapped in Time. This next polish up on my wish list is by Cracked Polish, and this one is called Backspace. Ever feel like you're glitching through time? Backspace taps into that feeling of getting lost in the matrix where past, present, and future blur into one shimmering loop. This deep plum base is laced with electric blue shimmer like code flickering in the shadows. A moody digital dream made for the time-bending wanderer, exclusive to Polished Pickup and only here for a moment before it disappears into the abyss. This one has a cap of only 1,000 being made available. Now that cap size sounds quite large considering some of the others that we've already encountered, but still I know that Cracked Polish is quite a popular brand. I will have to watch out for that, although this polish is still seemingly available currently as I'm filming this here on Friday, August the 1st at 10:13 in the evening Eastern Daylight Time. But still, I'll have to consider purchasing pretty fast if I'm going to get it. I've already mentioned a little bit about the climate changing in the area where I live. Those fresher fall feeling evenings are starting to sneak their way in, even though it's only August 1st. And along with that come my cravings for more fall leaning colors. Now, I do think that this color, though, would appeal to me at many different times of the year. I'm loving the contrast of this electric blue shimmer that's running through this really interesting plum base color. It's such a beautiful combination, a little bit unusual for sure, and I just love the overall feeling that this one gives as well. In some of these swatch photos, especially these macro shots, you're really seeing that shimmer come alive. It is rather electric, the way it goes through this base color. It also gives it a bit of a cool moodiness too, that edge. It's really something to me quite unexpected. And I do know, because I've purchased several others from Cracked Polish, both through Polished Pickup and also directly through Cracked Polish themselves, I absolutely love Cracked Polish's formula, really truly almost without exception. It seems like everything they've produced, everything I've purchased has been outstanding. This beautiful plum shimmer polish is by Cracked Polish, Backspace. This next polish up is by Emily Tamale, and this one is called Uncle Rico's Time Machine. The inspiration for this polish is Napoleon Dynamite. The description is that this one is a dusty pink nail polish with copper to green shifting aurora shimmer and a silver magnetic effect. It says opaque in 2 to 3 coats depending on your application. Top coat is recommended for a glossy finish. And it does add here that this color comes with their new fan brush. There is a cap, however, of only 320 of these polishes being made available this month before it's considered sold out. Luckily, at this time, it appears that this polish is still available late on Friday evening, August 1st, but I will have to make a decision quickly if I want to go ahead and purchase this one. Across the last year or so, I've been pulling my more neutral leaning polishes more than any others in my collection. I love polishes of any color, truly any color, but the ones that are getting highest usage right now in my collection across the last year are really my neutral leaning polishes, and this one would qualify as that type of a polish in my collection. I'm not somebody that has to wear work appropriate polishes or anything like that really in my life. I am a teacher, I'm an elementary teacher, so I can often get away with pretty much anything, within reason, I guess. But sometimes I find that certain professional activities or just events in life kind of require something a little more toned down. And I find that there's nothing I love pulling more than these indie polishes that do neutrals but far better. I mean, the silver magnetic shimmer that I'm seeing here in these swatch photos is spectacular. I'm also loving how this one seems to look equally beautiful in any kind of magnetic state. I can see here on several of the fingers, I'm seeing a cat eye effect where you see that silver stripe going across the nail. It looks really beautiful. I actually really love the contrast that I'm seeing that way. I also believe that I'm seeing here in these swatch photos on both of the left-hand side shots as well as the upper right. I think I'm seeing that on the middle and the pinky finger, I think that I'm seeing a velvet effect happening here. Perhaps one of those fingers may be unmagnetized. I can't really tell. It's hard to tell from what I'm seeing with the bottle shot here as well. But no matter what I'm seeing, I find this one beautiful. It really is kind of a neutral with a twist, a safe polish with a twist. It's something unique and intriguing without being too showy, but yet it does have a special flair all its own that's undeniable. This one's another really strong contender on my wish list, especially for the fact that I know that I would wear this polish constantly and consistently for any type of occasion throughout the full calendar year. This really beautiful, fresh magnetic is by Emily DeMolly, Uncle Rico's Time Machine. This next polish up is by Garden Path Lacquers, and this one is called Save the Future. Inspired by Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, time travel, 1980s, space whales, this movie has it all. Save the Future is a red jelly base filled with multi-chrome UCC flakes in red, gold, and blue-purple colorways, black metallic flakes, and red holographic micro glitter. Actually, this is a movie I haven't seen before. When I was growing up, my dad really loved Star Trek The Next Generation, and I used to watch it pretty often with him, but I really haven't seen any of the Star Trek movies, and I feel that I would love them. It's just a nostalgic part of my past, something I used to share with my dad, and I'm not sure why I never watched the movies along with him too. I know he's a big movie buff. It's something I'll have to check out. And back to this polish though, I'm really loving the look of this polish. Again, all the fall vibes that I'm starting to have cravings for. I don't think I have anything like this polish. This red jelly base is so intriguingly deep. It looks like kind of a maroon or maybe a cranberry type color. It's hard to tell because of all these flakes in here. And I guess also the red holographic micro glitter. The shine that's coming off of all these different types of flakes is what's really grabbing my attention. It's quite a fall range of colors that I'm seeing, but beautiful and brilliant and metallic. I'm also quite intrigued by the fact that there's the addition of this holographic micro glitter, actually more specifically the red holographic micro glitter in this polish. There's so much happening in a polish like this one that I think it would really come alive seeing it in person. Especially, I think, in natural sunlight and also in shifting light, coming from indoors to outdoors. As the lighting effects are changing, as we're going from summer into fall and eventually into winter as well, I could see myself having a lot of fun playing around with this polish at those different cooler times of year and seeing how this one plays in the sunlight. I think that this one has such a fun brightness aspect to it with these flakies. I also think that the base color gives it a vampy elegance. This one's intriguing me in all kinds of different ways, and it may just be one of my top picks this month. This beautiful, rich flaky is by Garden Path Lacquers' Save the Future. This next polish up is by Haunted Polish, and this one is called The Wilting Rose. In a forgotten flowerless garden, a single wilting rose hanging from its thorned stem beckons to be plucked. Each wilted petal that falls transports its bearer through time back to moments steeped in longing, whispered confessions, and unwritten love letters. With every petal lost, the past blooms again. A shade blossomed in a garden lost to time, the wilting rose is a blackened rose base with a ghostly green to blue shifting shimmer. And luckily for me again, there is no listed availability cap at this time. Now this polish for me is pretty special, and I think my number one pick this month for a few reasons. First of all, this is the debut polish that I'm aware of anyway by Haunted Polish, which is another project launched by the owner of Ethereal Lacquer. Apparently Ethereal Lacquer will still be happening and everything, but I think perhaps is on pause for right now while the maker is working on this new project, which is Haunted Polish. And I have to say, this first release, as far as I'm aware anyway, that it's a very first release, this one is taking my breath away. As a collector of nail polish, securing an initial launch, if it's something that I love, is something that I feel pretty strongly about. This one, as I said about the other one, has that vampy base color. It's so elegant, deep, mysterious, rich. To me, it has that deep, like burgundy type velvet look to it, but then this vivid shimmer, which I think adds this cool edge to it. There's something about the look of this polish that for me mimics some of the polishes that I used to oogle in my high school years and in my early university years, when of course I had no money to spend on anything. The polishes that I was wearing were at best drugstore brand polishes. More often than not though, they were dollar store brand polishes that I was wearing. And I've been a polish wearer really all through my high school years up till now. These were the types of colors that I can remember just pining for when I was in high school, in the beginning of university, seeing some of these cool brands like, I'm thinking Urban Decay, MAC Cosmetics. I'm a Canadian. MAC was a Canadian launch brand. There were so many brands that had these edgy, cool polishes that I just had to watch from afar. And I feel like in so many ways, this is satisfying that craving from so long ago. And I still love this look now. I love how you can really see in some of these swatch photos that complete spectrum that's described of having a ghostly green to blue shifting shimmer. In this swatch photo here, I'm seeing that effortlessly. And absolutely my eyes are picking up that blackened rose base. It really is a deep, rich color. I'm loving everything about this one, and the fact that it appears to be a debut by Haunted Polish makes me want to secure it even more as a collector. This beautiful, mysterious polish that brings me back to my high school days. This one is by Haunted Polish, The Wilting Rose. This next polish up is by Moonshine Manny, and this one is called Claire Fraser. Claire Fraser is a silky and smoky blue, glowing with aqua blue, purple, pink magnetic shimmer, violet fuchsia gold iridescent shimmer, and gold hollow microglitters. It is inspired by Outlander's Claire Fraser and the beautiful blue dress she makes for herself when attempting to travel back in time to find Jamie. There is a cap for this polish, and it's 1,000 again. At the time of filming this, it's still available, and I think I'm going to have to jump on this pretty quickly because this is another one that I feel very strongly about. Now, Outlander is not a book series or a TV show that I have any experience with. I haven't read or watched Outlander, but I have the feeling that it might be something that I might enjoy. What I do know that I enjoy, though, is the appearance of this polish, and I'm in love with this swatch photo right here. The look that I'm seeing here with this polish using the cat eye effect, which I think I'm seeing here with the index and the pinky finger, as well as the velvet magnetic effect, which I think I'm seeing for the middle and ring fingers. Either way, this polish is magically breathtaking. I'm loving the cool color range that I'm seeing here from sort of that green aqua range all the way up to purple, fuchsia. It's just such an overall beautiful look. It looks like magic on the nails to me. On every swatcher, in every swatch photo, I am loving it. And for all those reasons, this one's another one that is a top pick for me this month. And with that availability cap, I think I'm going to have to make my purchase pretty much the moment I'm finished filming this to be sure that I don't miss out on this polish. This beautiful, sparkly magnetic polish is by Moonshine Manny Claire Fraser. This next polish up is by Painted Polish, Bigger on the Inside. Inspired by the TARDIS from one of our favorite shows, Doctor Who. Fun fact, TARDIS stands for Time and Relative Dimensions in Space. The description of this one is that it is a Catalina blue Crelly with black, gold, and silver metallic flakies. Denim vibes. Again, every August, September, October, I crave colorways like this. To me, it just embodies back to school vibes, dark denims. It's an elegant look. It's without fail a look I crave every year at this time of year. And I love this polish for all those feelings that it's giving me. The metallic aspects of this polish remind me of those rivets that you'd see in an amazing dark denim pair of jeans. It's a colorway that I come back to time and time again, but I love it. And I have nothing quite like this polish in my collection as well. I realize that the Beau Rev lacquer polish is another one that I've got on my wish list with those denim blue vibes for me. But to me, these are completely different takes on that kind of colorway, completely different looks, and they, I don't think, would be dupes at all for me in my collection with each other or with anything else that I own. I'm loving, again, everything about what this is bringing. This beautiful deep blue polish is by Painted Polish, Bigger on the Inside. This next polish up is by Pie Colors, Lost to Eternity. This polish is a lovely pale green with a hint of blue and a wonderful gold to red shimmer. It's inspired by the book cover for a Star Trek novel of the same name. There are only 250 of these being made available this month. And I mean, at this point, it looks like it still might be available, but I'll have to purchase fast. I'm going to have to start speaking faster so that I can stop filming and just make my purchase. Pie Colors is a brand that I've only recently come to start exploring, but I know they've been around for a little bit. But it's really only perhaps in the last 6 months or so where I've picked up my first polishes by them, and they are breathtaking. I love everything about this colorway too. This kind of a pale green, kind of a sagey green I'm finding. To me, my first instinct was kind of a spring type color, but I'm a green lover. I wear this kind of color all summer long as well. This kind of deeper sagey aspect, or maybe it's because of the warmer shimmer that I'm seeing. Well, it's making me think of sage green anyway, which to me is very strongly in my life a fall-leaning kind of colorway as well. I think I'd get a lot of use out of a polish like this one. And Pie Colors as a brand, I'm very new to the world of Pie Colors at this point, but I find their polishes outstanding. Each time I've purchased from them, I've fallen absolutely in love with the swatch photos, but I fall in love with the polish itself even harder. I love the fact that this one seems to have perhaps a bit of a sheerness happening here. It seems like a lightness. I do tend to see some of the swatcher's visible nail line through the polish, but I'm not quite sure how many coats have been applied in some of these photos. But I love the impact of that shimmer with this base. It's an elegant color, it's a soft color, and I think that it's one that I could find myself pulling every season throughout the year. I already mentioned spring, summer, probably fall if this is as sage leaning as I think it is, also with that warm ember type shimmer running through it. But also I could see myself wearing this one in the winter too. It's really refreshing, really interesting to me, and it's a brand that I'm quickly falling in love with. This beautiful green shimmer is by Pie Colors, Lost to Eternity. This next polish up is by Polished for Days, and this one is called Revamp. This polish is inspired by a reimagining Chanel's Vamp, which was sort of its own reimagined work of the iconic Rouge Noir. Luckily for me, there is no availability cap for this polish either. And this one is another top pick of mine. So I have been incredibly aware of Chanel's Vamp through my earlier years. Of course, I couldn't afford any sort of like high-end polish at all, let alone a Chanel polish. And I've also been made aware for sure of the iconic Rouge Noir, which is still available in shops around me, but for a pretty prohibitive price, I'm finding. It's a color I've always kind of had my eye on because it is iconic. It's just one of those like jewels that I'd love to add to my collection. Something really special. It's a color I know that I would adore, but it is still kind of ridiculously, outrageously out of reach for me to acquire my own bottle of Rouge Noir at this point. Maybe someday for a really indulgent gift for myself, I might buy it, but in the meantime, this is it. This is such a wonderful chance for me to make this purchase, to appreciate this color and enjoy it. I love what Polish for Days has done here. I think it's absolutely elegant and edgy and beautiful. Now, having been away for the last week on vacation, I have no idea if anybody's posted, like any swatchers or anything, have posted any swatch photos comparing this polish for Days revamp, with the original Chanel's Vamp or Chanel's Rouge Noir, just to see how these might compare. But regardless if they haven't, I love this polish and I would really love to add this one to my collection. I think it would kind of fill that void that I feel like I have by not having these really iconic designer polishes in my collection. This one I think might be as close as I can get for the time being. And I'd love to add it to my collection. This would not be taking a shortcut for me. This would be me being able to acquire something I really desperately want for a much more sensible price and probably in a much more sensible quality as well. I know that Polish for Days produces an outstanding product every time. This really rich interpretation of a classic designer polish is by Polish for Days Revamp. This next polish up is by Royla Lee and it's called Echoes of the Stars. Inspired by A Wrinkle in Time, this shade features a dusty blurple gray base with a shimmer that shifts from orange to copper. Luckily, again, there is no availability cap for this one. Now, this Royla Lee polish is a perfect example of one of those neutral polishes, but better, that I was talking about earlier when I was referring to the Emily Damali polish that has also made its way onto my wish list this month. I love this one for the subtleness, but also for the brilliance of this shimmer. This looks like a wildly dramatic shimmer happening here in a base that seems quite subtle, if not possibly sheer. I do think that in some of these swatch photos here, I think in some of these angles, I am seeing a significant amount of visible nail line. It's that shimmer though that seems to overtake the base color and just dance in the lighting. Neutrals are something that I can't get enough of lately, and I know that I would make incredible use of a polish like this one. In fact, it would be yet another one that I'd use throughout the year, any type of season, any type of occasion. This one would be one I would come to again and again. A Wrinkle in Time is actually one of the very first, I guess it would be considered fantasy books that I read when I was really quite young. I feel like I read this book maybe when I was in grade 3 or grade 4. I was a pretty strong reader when I was younger. And it's funny, I read it so long ago. I remember loving the book, but I really have very few memories of what the plot of the book was or anything like that. I kind of would really love to revisit this classic soon because I know I adored it when I was younger. So I'll have to add that one to my reading list again too, just to revisit this classic from my past. But I think that this nail polish as well would become a really wonderful classic to add to my nail polish collection. The smokiness of that base color, the brilliance of the shimmer, This one is another really strong contender this month. This beautiful shimmer polish is by Royla Lee, Echoes of the Stars. This final polish on my wish list this month is by Tyler's Trinkets, and it's called Idle Playthings. Inspired by the robot devil from one of my favorite time travel themed shows, Futurama. Idle Playthings has a bright red base that shines neon orange under black light with pink, purple, gold iridescent flakes and black microflakes. There is a cap of only 300 being made available this month. This polish seems to have that bright, nearly neon type red base that I've been loving so much this summer. I only have very few of them. None of them come in this type of a flaky. So this one is appealing to me because it is completely unique to anything I have in my collection. The brilliance of that base, the way it's anchored a little bit by those black microflakes, but then how these additional flakes in here. I mean, it's described here as having pink, purple, gold, iridescent flakes running through it as well. And I absolutely love the way these seem to have a bit of a flash to them in various lighting conditions and how it plays up against this vibrant base and the depth of these deep black microflakes. I find it such a dramatic look, a fiery look, and I do have a few neons that could complement this, I think, from my Cirque Colors collection. I think I've got Cirque Colors Game Over. I also have Pyro. I kind of wonder how those more creme neon polishes might play with this neon flaky polish, but I think maybe in a Skittle together. I'm starting to get these daydream ideas, and because I keep thinking about how this polish will play up against others that I already have in my collection, I think this one is quickly moving up to the very top of my wish list as well. I'm starting to envision interesting neon or near neon Skittle type polish combinations going on in my collection. Anyway, my imagination is kind of running wild, and because of that, it's almost like I already own it in my mind. I think this one's another top contender this month. This bright red, nearly neon polish with these really interesting components is by Tyler's Trinkets, Idle Playthings. That's it for my wish list this month for August 2025's Polish Pickup Time Travel theme. Now the shop is already open. It opened up this morning at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on August the 1st, and the shop remains open until the end of the day on August the 4th. I'm going to keep this really quick because I still need to make my purchase. So I'm wondering, are you planning on making any purchases this month for August Polish Pickup? If you are, which items are catching your eye? I'd also love to know all your thoughts on my wish list as well. Hopefully by the time this video releases, I will have already made my purchase. I'm really late to the game after being on vacation, but life happens and polish had to take a back seat this month. So I am wondering all about your thoughts. What have you picked up? Please share all your comments below and we can continue on the conversation long after. If you enjoy wish listing content similar to this, please consider giving this video a like. It indicates to me that you enjoy wish listing type content, and I'll try my best to release on time in the future when I'm not on vacation. By indicating to me that you enjoy content like this, I'll try my best to continue to produce content like this in the months ahead. As well, if you enjoy nail-related content in general, please consider subscribing. I release nail-related content as often as I can, and by subscribing, you won't miss out on any of the fun. Thank you so much for joining me this month. Happy shopping. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next one. Take care. Bye.